Hi friends, I wanted to talk to you really quickly today about losing an election. There's not a lot of information out there about losing an election. I know because I searched for it when I lost my election in 2014. In fact, I only found like one article on the whole internet from a woman in Canada who lost some small city race. But nobody talks about it. You know, when you lose an election after, for me, 2 years of fundraising and 24/7 activity, bringing volunteers in and putting your heart and soul into this idea and this dream that you're going to be a public servant and be able to, serve in Lansing or wherever it is. And all of a sudden you lose. And we lost by about 450 votes, and it was crushing. And I learned a few things by going through this process that I think it's important to share, because typically, again, we don't talk about it. The morning after you lose an election, it's really quiet. Nobody calls you. Everybody goes back to their lives, or they're celebrating the winner. And there's nothing to do. There's no door knocking. There's no volunteers showing up. No one's calling you because they need you to go to this event or do this or answer questions. It's just quiet. And, some people, when they run in an election, they actually get into pretty steep financial debt. We didn't do that, but I know people who mortgaged their homes to run for office and lost their election. So not only did they lose their election, but now they've got all this debt to take care of. That can be heartbreaking. That can be hard. And then there's the emotional baggage of politics can get really personal, especially in some of these smaller races where you know everyone and they're choosing sides. And it's hard to get over the fact that they did not choose your side. There can be backstabbing, there can be rumors, there could be negative campaigning. And I think it's probably hard to get over that no matter what. But when you lose, it's even worse. And I remember having to go to an event 2 days after the election, a unity breakfast. And it was like the worst thing I've ever had to do in my whole life, was walk into this unity breakfast with all the people that had won and all the people that I knew had picked sides against me, and just kind of try to be brave and hold it together. And I didn't do a great job, but I showed up, and that was the important part. But it's hard to lose an election, and there's a grieving process that comes with it. And I think it's letting go of that dream, letting go of how you thought things were going to go. So a couple things for people who have a friend who lost an election. I did not care when people told me I could run again in a few years. I didn't care about Abraham Lincoln examples of him losing. It sucked. And I just wanted to wallow for a second and just in the suck of it all, right? Because it sucked. And nobody was going to make me feel better, because I felt like a loser because I lost, right? So just give people space and room. Be kind to them. Remind them what makes them great. And if you lost an election, I think it's really important to take that time to grieve, to focus back on your family, focus on the things that make you who you are outside of politics. And hopefully your whole identity isn't in politics, because it shouldn't be. Focus on eating healthy, focus on being around people who lift you up, who, breathe life into your life, because you need it, because you're grieving. And I think it's a natural process. Also, getting a plan to make sure that you do get out of that debt that you're in, and not ignore it. It won't go away. And then I know even for me, I struggled with bitterness and unforgiveness towards people who had chosen sides against me, or who had done things in the election that were pretty mean and rotten. And I still struggle with some of that. And it's been a couple of years, but it's so personal when it's you, when you're the product that you're trying to sell to the public and they choose someone else. But at the end of the day, I am a couple years out, and I've learned a lot. I've been able to look at what I was doing and what I did well, what I would do differently next time. And I really hope that if you've lost an election, take courage. It will get better. You'll be fine. You'll pick yourself up and dust yourself off again, and maybe even run for office again one day. Who knows? I'm thinking about running for office again, and this time I'll be better prepared, and I plan to win. Have a great night.